had to step into my power so that I can empower more women who were struggling just like I was.
So earlier in my career, I wish somebody would have told me that not everybody wants to see me win. Not everybody was going to be by my side. I had to learn to be my biggest cheerleader, to be the person to go out there and step out of my comfort zone and do new things, try new things, because not everybody is going to be supportive.
Guess what? You're not in it alone, because there's tons of women out there that are struggling just like you, who want to be there to support you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of You Were Meant for More. I'm your host, Francine, and I have another amazing guest joining me today. And I'm so excited for her to share what it is that she's up to, because she is all about the spirit, mind, and body connection. And you know, I am so connected to that. And I want to make sure we are all understanding this process. Last week, we brought in the experts for menopause. You know, the week before we brought in guests that share their own menopause experience. But I've been bringing in people and coaches and physician's assistants that talk about how it's all connected. Spirit, mind, body, spirit, however you want to look at it, but it's all interconnected. And I was so grateful to have Sara come on, because when her and I got into conversation about the show, she said everything that I was like, yes, we're in alignment. Let's go. Let's share this with the world. And so I'm so grateful to have her on the show. Thank you, Sara, for being here.
Thank you, Francine, for having me. I feel so honored to be here on your show. It's such a powerful, powerful place to be if you're empowering so many people right now.
Aw, thank you. I'm going to really quick update the privacy on Facebook, because for some reason, there it is, it's public. Awesome. For some reason, it likes to choose our audience for us. And I don't know why it's...
that silly algorithm, right?
I know, right? Okay. That's weird. And then I got a message from Facebook saying, we removed your post. Let's see why. That is so weird. Anyways, I'm going to have to deal with them later. So we'll have to deal with Facebook later, but we are live on YouTube, E360 TV, and LinkedIn. So it's all good. Yay. Anyways, I want to go ahead and introduce this beautiful woman. So let me go ahead and introduce her now. So Sara Jean McPhee is a passionate holistic transformation mentor and Ayurvedic health counselor who has turned her personal struggles into a mission to help others. From battling chronic digestive issues and hormonal imbalances to overcoming ovarian cancer and infertility, Sara's journey is a testament to the power of resilience and holistic healing. Despite the odds, she is now the proud mother of 2 daughters and a living example of transformation and hope. Through Ayurveda, spiritual exploration, and mindful healing, Sara found her path to vibrant health and self-discovery. Today, she empowers others to achieve the same transformation. And so she specializes in helping people overcome challenges like acid reflux, bloating, and hormonal imbalances through Ayurvedic practices, lifestyle shifts, and emotional healing. So her approach combines ancient wisdom with modern insights, guiding clients to reclaim their health and unlock their full potential. So whether through coaching programs, Ayurvedic courses, or her book, Magical Adventures of a Little Yogi, Sara's mission is clear: to inspire and support others in becoming their own personal hero. Can we just all yes, round of applause. We're going to do this. We're going to clap. We're going to be, yes, girl, yes. So everything, yes. So thank you so much for being here, for sharing. And I'm excited for this. Like, you are, you know, making moves and making things happen. And I want the audience to know what it is that, you know, got you started. Share a little bit about who you are and what got you into this journey of supporting others.
Well, it was, you know, straight up from my childhood. I always knew I was meant to serve people, but then it led into my own difficulties. And once I realized I went from 0 to 100 of like dying to healthy, I just knew that there was another way to help other people. And it was just really solidified with the passing of my father. I didn't get to it on time. I didn't get the knowledge and the expertise on time to be able to truly help him. So at that point, it really flipped a switch. Like, I have to be here to help people. I've gone through it. I know what the struggles are, and I must spread the knowledge that you can be your own hero, you can be your own health advocate, and you can heal in a very natural and very easy way.
I love that. She just said it perfectly. You can heal in a very natural and what was the other word?
Easy. It's totally easy.
Easy. And that's
to me, it was like, she was like, I didn't know it was just this easy. I didn't know there was a better way to life. And I just took that to heart.
Yes. And that's where, again, a lot of people don't know or don't understand okay, look, it looks like we are live on Facebook. Hey, hello, Luz. Woo, thanks for joining us. Thank you for the love, girl. I truly appreciate you. You can be your own hero. I love that. Yes. Thank you, Luz. Thank you. Shout out to Luz Hernandez. She is a girl life coach, so definitely go follow her as well. So we love you, Luz. Thank you. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, somebody said that to you and then you were just like, I'm going to run with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I always knew that it was just the little tiny things that helped me get to where I am today. But when she just put it so bluntly and just like, there's a better way, and it's so logical and so simple, and you just made it so easy, I was just like, oh, of course, that's how I have to present it now.
Right, exactly. And so the thing is, I really understand how simplistic it could be, right? It's we kind of get into this whole cycle of, what do I do? And my body is acting a certain way. I have this, I have bloating, I have that. What kind of pill or what kind of drugs do I need, right?
And I get into an overwhelm.
Right, exactly. So share a little bit more about the Ayurvedic and what you're doing with that.
So I discovered Ayurveda right before I had my 2 children. And it was the concept that I had a unique structure to my body and I was misusing it. So I went from extremely hot body to cooling myself off and having children. And it was just that one simple, like, I'm hot, I need to be cold, that changed everything. And that's how I use Ayurveda with everybody else. Ayurveda is an ancient science. It's from India. It's based on the concept that we have qualities within us. And when we recognize our natural qualities to what the imbalanced qualities are within us, we can then just make a flip. Are you too moist? Well, start getting a little drier. And this is how I use Ayurveda and its knowledge to help adjust people's lifestyles, adjust their diet, and adjust their natural just way of life into something very simple and easy.
So when you talk about somebody, is too dry or too moist, like, how is it that you stumble upon that from them? It's just asking questions, or how do you get to understanding their overall balance?
Well, there's definitely different aspects. I mean, I am trained to assess person, but you can see it in the qualities of the mind. You can see it in the qualities of your digestion. These are the 2 biggest clues. And we have emotions that we can be considered as, let's say, too moist, which is heavy, too, stagnant, kind of like a puddle. Our emotions are just sitting here until eventually it builds up and the flood breaks, and then the emotions spill everywhere, right? So that would be considered an emotional moisture in the mind. But then if you have moisture in your digestion, then it's going to be too stagnant in your digestion. You're not going to be able to really move it through. You're going to have, low metabolism. You're going to have, it's going to show in your body in different ways as well, like moisture through the skin, moisture through too much moisture coming out of your eyes. I mean, your saliva also is a big tell. I mean, there's different clues and hints that you learn through Ayurveda.
That is so interesting. And so I got to share this really quick. We love you, Brandon. We love you too. Brandon Hintz. This is how we met. We actually met through Brandon. So Brandon Hintz is amazing. He's like, I love you both. Keep moving forward. Your time is now. It is now. It's now forward moving. So I love it. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
So I had to, of course, do, some research of myself because I had never heard of Ayurveda. And so one of the things I wanted to share is like, it's the treatment of diet, herbal medicines, exercise, meditation, breathing, physical therapy, massage, right? And so I wanted to share that because it's like, these are things that like are so important to our overall well-being and self-care, right?
It is.
But we overcomplicate it.
It is. Ayurveda is literally translated as the science of life, and that's everything. So, we don't only just work with our diet, we work with how we eat our food. We work with how we cleanse our body. We work with colors, what colors you have sitting around your house, what sounds you're healing. I mean, we have all these sensories that we need to utilize for the best health within our body. Yes. And Ayurveda teaches and just breaks it down in such a logical fashion that it makes it easy to just adjust one little tweak here, one little tweak there. Next thing you know, life's getting so much better.
Oh, wow. Okay, sounds good. And we have a question. So Luz is chiming in and she's asking, I have been experiencing dried eyes. Can you explain what could be happening there?
So there's a couple things. If you're having dry eyes, I've got to ask, do you also have dry skin? Because then we need to bring more moisture. And I don't know where you're living. Climate has a lot to do with it. What's going on in your house? Do you have central air or do you have wood fire? I mean, there's all these different factors here that could be playing into it. But if you do have moisture systemically throughout the body, dryness systemically throughout the body, you just need to add more moisture. And it can be very simple as adding soups to your daily regimen, right?
Yeah.
But there's also different cleansing practices that Ayurveda suggests and different things that you can do. And as far as your eyes, the eye cup, that's a big one.
Okay, so she's saying my skin has been getting dry during the cold season and she lives in LA.
Yeah, tis the season for dryness, I have to say. So one other thing that's really big and is not mentioned much is that Ayurveda follows seasonal life. Yeah. So when we have, and it's really hard to pinpoint the diet because of that, when we are living in the summer, we are eating differently, we are living differently, we are having different routines. When we're in the winter, which is naturally the essence of dryness, then we are trying to combat that. So keeping this in mind and switching up your routine, switching up your diets in order to combat the dry, airy, mobile aspects of winter, also the coldness of winter, even if you are in LA, right? It still gets a bit colder.
One of the things we do in our household, and maybe you can, attest to see if it's the right method, is we put a humidifier in our rooms. Yeah. My mom boil water too to steam the moisture in the house. So it's moisturizing the home because like I get dry nose. So like I get super dry and my nose hurts. And so in order to get moisture in our home, we boil water in the house, or in the rooms, we have humidifiers.
Yes. Humidifiers are a wonderful way to do that. And you can also utilize essential oils to bring about more healing qualities. And I'm not going to get into specifics, but we do break down scents, essential oil smells into different qualities. So there's different essential oils out there that'll help promote the moisture in your air. Another thing is Nasya. Nasya is a wonderful and well-known Ayurvedic trick for your dry nose. And it's the act of putting oil up here.
Huh. I actually thought about that because I read coconut oil. And so the other day I was like, coconut oil. Did it help? Oil. It did. It helped. Yes, but it's I noticed that it has to be consistent. You know what I mean? So.
It is. It's the small daily actions that we take, or even weekly actions that we take that build up. I mean, it's just like in your business. You're welcome, Liz. It's just like in your business, if you got to take action every single day to make an impact and to grow, well, you have to do the same actions with your health.
Yes.
when you falter and you forget about that, that thing that you used to do 2 years ago that promoted so much good health in your body, and you're like, oh, I should get back into that. Probably should, right? Keep it up. Keep a routine.
I'm laughing because it's like, yes. I mean, even like as simple as like, oh, I got to get back into workout, like lifting weights, because I used to strength train, and I keep saying it. Oh, I got to get back into it, and it's like these habits, you got to like be consistent with, and it's these little things. So I'm not trying to say I'm perfect. I do everything. We all need support, right? And this is why we talk about this. Yes. So thank you for sharing that. Now, one of the things you and I had talked about, because I remember you and I were talking one day and we're just like, oh, it's the mind, body, spirit connection. And I'm like, oh, I lead very very spirit, mind, body. And you're like, I lead body, mind, spirit. And it was just like, it made me laugh. And I go, girl, let's do it. So share about how you do that process.
Well, a little backstory about me. I'm very into the esoteric. I love finding out about myself, which is why I love finding out about others. I know my star chart. I know my human design chart. I know my personality. And I've always been, residing in the upper realms of the esoteric. And I forgot about my body. I did. Yes. And that showed its ugly face when I was diagnosed with cancer. So then I had to have this little switch, like, oh, let's remember about this physical thing right here. If this physical body is not having a good experience, then, the spirit won't be able to come in and talk to me. And, I've been thinking a lot about this week, and I wanted to share, we all know the parable from the Bible. Build your house on a solid foundation, right? Well, our bodies are the house, is the foundation that we need to build our house on. We need to have strong bodies. Through having strong bodies, we can then have the emotions and the mind, which I kind of relate to as like, the interactions inside the house, the family, interacting with you, interacting with the public. And through all these proper interactions, having a stable foundation, we can then allow the divine to come into our home, guide us on our purpose, and really lead us to where we need to be. But it all starts with the foundation, right? So that's why I always start body, mind, spirit.
I love that. And so she made a perfect reference to that, because it's like, you all know, if you've been following me for a minute, you know that I'm a spiritual woman. So I lead, I'm like, God first, let's go, And so like spirit, mind, body. And it's like, you got to think about it. It's like, yes, you're right. I can lead with God, but if I'm not taking my body seriously into like making sure I'm setting that foundation, to eating right, nurturing my body, even like through massages and physical therapy and strength training and, being healthy all over, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, that's where we kind of like, we miss the boat sometimes, where you said you got cancer, and I'm so grateful you're cancer free.
I am.
So, yay.
11 or 12 years. I've almost forgot the amount of time, right?
Yes.
We can't hear our spirit properly. Yes, we still lead, we still connect, but to be able to hear our, the divine and our higher self properly, we need to build the health within.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so, so the topic, of our show is why your health matters, so that you can literally step into the life that you've always wanted, that you've always envisioned. And so this is why it is so important that we focus on the body, and then of course, mindset, spiritual. And even last week when I brought in a physician's assistant that does integrative medicine, she mentioned how it's all body connected through spirit and so everybody knows that there's this whole connection. And so I'm glad you're sharing all of these goodies. So you have a book, and I want to dive into that you wrote because of your own experiences, and it's actually a children's book, right?
It is, because I love my girls, and I've always been more of a cartoonsy person, so it just naturally flowed out of me. And, I could talk all day about the seasonal diet and, the personalized diet of Ayurveda, but what it truly, truly came down to for me was the healthy eating guidelines.
Oh, yeah.
How we eat our food. And I have a little story about this if you're willing to hear it.
Please. Tell us all the things.
So I had to travel one year about 5 hours to go pick up my mother from the airport in San Francisco. I live in the boonies, right? I have an off-grid property, so it took me a while. I had to wake up very, very early, and about halfway through, I got very, very hungry, right? But the only thing that was open at like 7:30 in this morning was this little hole in the wall, greasy, not what I would normally go to, non-organic restaurant. And I'm just like, let's do it. And I went in and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have everything that I know I shouldn't, and I'm going to enjoy it. So there was number one. I had thankfulness that something was open, that I could eat it. And I grabbed myself a hamburger that had a hash brown and a fried egg on top of it. And I just like, this is going to be it. But I was like, I'm in my truck. I shouldn't be eating this while I'm driving. I decided to park myself, face a beautiful view, which there is plenty of when I'm in California. And I said my gratitude. I chewed my food well. And normally this causes, IBS, problems, issues. But because I took the time to follow my healthy eating guidelines, nothing happened. I made the entire journey to the airport and back without even the slightest ounce of disturbance within my belly. And it impacted me so much that I had to start teaching this to others. And I even put it above what your actual personalized diet is. I'm like, let's get started with these eating guidelines. What are you doing wrong? Let's figure it out. Okay. And so that led me to be, I wasn't taught these things when I was a kid, but why aren't we teaching these things to our kids? If they would just start off right, then we would be able to keep healthy digestions for the whole life of our children. So I put it in a book.
I love it. So you're going to have to show the book again.
Yes, I think I'm a little bit backwards, but here it is.
Okay. So it's Magical Adventures of a Little Yogi Discovering
Ayurvedic
Healthy Eating. So yes, everybody, if you're following us on social, it's in the link. The link is there for you to go purchase her book, show her some love, and definitely get your kids in. And you have the steps, right? You have the steps in that book.
I do have the steps. I have a little note to parents in the back. I have a little extra thing about, saying grace for the meals and how to incorporate it for your children if it's not something that your family is used to. And then also the healthy eating guidelines, all of it right here. And, I self-published it, so that's why it's up on Amazon. So
yes, that's
and the gift of health this season, right?
Oh my goodness, Luz. Okay, first of all, Luz, I totally thought of you so Luz does girl workshops, empowerment girl workshops. And so I totally thought of her and I was like, girl, you need to get this for your girls. And she just said, I'll get that book for girl empowerment workshops. Yes, we're all aligned. We are aligned in this. Thank you, Luz, for your support. But yes, I found it so inspiring because the thing, it's like, there's a lot of stuff as adults, that we're understanding. We're learning now as adults, and things that weren't taught to us back when we were younger. And so for you to put it in something that starts, as a child, even for an adult to grab that and say, hey, we can pass this on for others to learn and to understand and to know, so that we're starting with the youth, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because we know what we know now. We didn't know what we knew back then. And now we get to show up in a different space so that we can support people on such a larger level, right?
Exactly.
And this is what we do, right? We're out there to impact the world. We want to be able to love on people, show them that they were meant for more. Go out there, love yourself, love your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you and I were talking too, not too long ago. I love you, Luz. This will be great for our nutrition portion. Yes. She does. She has like different types of portions, different types of workshops where she covers all areas. And so,
You got to get a hold of me. I would love to chat with you.
Yeah, Luce, get a hold of Sara. All right. So you and I were talking, and we were talking about the different areas of like the overall. You talked about 4D, and so forth of the body. Can you dive into a little bit about that so that our audience knows?
Okay. So back in about 2014, I was hanging out in San Francisco. It was a very powerful experience for me. Mm-hmm. And I was doing some yoga in a high rise. And this is a little silly to some, but it was very powerful for me. I had a vision. This being.
It's not silly. A lot of people that watch us get visions all the time. So you go, girl.
Okay. This very large being came out over the bay that I was looking out over as I was doing yoga. And it told me, we are 3D creatures here on this earth. We are transcending into a 4D spiritual body. And eventually we're going to hit the 5D level soon. But what it came down to for me was, this is my 3D, the physical, what I'm slapping, what I'm feeling. The 4D mind is not just what is thinking around up here, but it's your chakra system. It's the aura that's around you. It's your mental powers, the way I was able to have visions, the way I'm able to be an empath, the way you're able to just sense when your special loved one is calling you. These are the 4D powers that we have that are just very naturally being integrated into the whole entire collective. And we're rising up to a 5D level. And this 5D level was told to me that we are all connected. We've all heard this. But to have right now a 5D experience, I have learned that you do have to have a healthy physical body. And it's like, I like to think of it as like when we go to our conferences, we have such a powerful, up-leveling. We just are like, minds are blown. I'm going to go home. I've experienced so much. But then when you do get home, you crash and burn, unfortunately. You maybe get a little sick. You have to recoup a bit. And I see this as your physical body was not there to be able to sustain the spirituality that was trying to download into you, to uplift you, to have the ascension that you are desiring and trying to experience. Because it is the 3D, the physical body, that sustains our spirituality. Without that, nothing. And so I do have this little saying I like to mention. The path to optimal health is the same path to ascension. You cannot have the ascension without the optimal health. So it's the same road. You want to ascend? Optimal health's coming along with you. You want optimal health? You're going to start ascending, right?
Now, it's so funny for all of our spiritual people out there. You all know what ascension means. It's ascending up above, right? And so as, he's waiting for us to be, as we're ascending up, I'm just like, it's powerful because it's like we have to have this foundation that God is so our body is our temple. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that and I know that and everything, and it's like it's crazy because everything is in alignment with what you're saying. I knew that we were. So like when you talk about the 3D and the 4D, it's like, I knew this is our flesh. This is our, here we are. This is you mentioned this is our 3D, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, the way I work and the way I maneuver is I knew that we're in human form. We're in human form. We're in flesh. But our thoughts and our processes and our emotions and how we maneuver, or at least how I maneuver, is 4D, meaning I know I'm not of this world. I'm of that world.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of, and it's so funny that you're saying this because I'm like, oh, somebody else is there too. Can we just start a club? I'm just kidding.
I would love to. Spread the word. I know my spirit guides, the divine told me this is the message I have to portray this year and next year. Get out there and tell it because people need to understand. And I kind of call it the knowing. Like if you know, you know.
But see, the thing is like, and I know this. Okay. let me just preface this by saying, I know this is a lot of information that sounds confusing to people that are not connected spiritually. Let me just kind of preface that. It's really connecting to your divine spirit within, okay? And understanding that we're not of this world, we're of his world. But the thing is, we came in human form, we came in the flesh. So we're going to respond in human manners, in human actions, in human emotions. And that's where I do Bible study as well. And so when I do Bible study, I talk about the connection in which you are. And it's funny, I never heard of the 4D terminology, but I basically say you're not of this world, you're in his. Mm-hmm. And so when you're in that space, you act accordingly. And I'm like really trying to break it down in layman's terms.
Let me break it down for you. And Ayurveda helps with this, okay?
Go ahead.
So the primordial cause of all disease is disconnect from your spirit. Disconnect from the divine, disconnect from your 4D, your 5D, and all this. That's the baseline disconnect. The next level up, there's 3 of them. Time, can't get away from that. We all age, causes disease. Let's move on. Next one is the misuse of the senses. So what are we abusing when it comes to our taste, our sight, our sound, our smell, our touch? And so this is the 3D world that we're talking about, right? And understanding that these, how we experience, how we act in the world, our interactions all come down to our 5 senses. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Whether or not we're living in alignment with that. Now, if we live in alignment with that, our intellect, we know what we're doing. And here's the third one. If we're not living in alignment, then we're misusing our intellect. We know we shouldn't be going to bed so late. We know we shouldn't have that 3rd cup of coffee. You get the picture, right?
Oh,
and so that's how we break it down straight to the physical healing aspect of it. Yes, we can talk about the 4D, 5D all you want, but how do you actually bring it into the 3D? And it's through the vehicles of our senses. It's through using our intellect to know what's good for us, what's bad for us. Are we following our ego? Are we following our, divine self, our higher self? Does that help break it down?
I love it. Yes. It's so funny because I love it because it's ego is so, oh my goodness. If people just release the whole ego thing, we would be in such a better position.
The ego protects us. I'm learning this from my
spiritual teacher.
It does protect us, but it can lead us wrong because the ego is always going to choose what feels the best. Correct. And sometimes what feels the best is the best thing for us.
And sometimes it's not.
It's not. And that's when you have to use your intellect.
Yes. And again, this goes very deep. And I'm so grateful for you because you have no idea. Okay, people, I'm going to take a pause right here. I love these highly emotional, intelligent conversations. You have no idea. I thrive on them. And so Sarah and I already know this. Sarah and I were going to be working on something together that is going to put you all in that higher level space because this is so connected to my spirit. Do you know what I mean? That I'm just like, my spirit is literally jumping for joy right now. Yes. And I'm just like, okay. And anytime it does that, anytime it does that, I follow through. There's another woman I'm doing a retreat with. We do, she puts on women rising retreats, Natalie Soriano. And so women, I'm partnering with her for women rising retreats, in-person events. And then of course we're going to retreats, but I would love this to really for you and I to have a larger conversation on bringing these people who are interested, obviously, but really understanding, because when I talk to people about getting to that level of spirituality, it's it's amazing. Like you have joy, peace, happiness. I mean, fulfillment. I'm sorry? Trust. I mean, there's just so much of the emotions of like feeling fulfilled and just like gratitude and abundance. And when you align yourself, when you align your full self, it's just everything that you're supposed to do. You're on your mission, you're on your purpose, you're on your journey. But see, we always get stuck in that 3D emotion or 3D of like what's taking us back, taking the wrong turn in your ego, whatever that may look like. You know what I mean? And so anyway, Sara and I are going to talk more about it. We'll definitely have to come back and bring it all to you. But I definitely know my spirit's like, we need to get in alignment with this. Okay, let's go over to some, I don't know if you have questions. Let me see. Lou says, interesting. I never thought of it that way. Thank you for the awareness. Number one key thing is awareness.
First step of healing, awareness. Yes. Without awareness, you don't know what to heal.
You don't. Absolutely. And that's in any coaching. A lot of coaches will say number one key thing is awareness. So yes, absolutely. Yes, Jesus was a great example for our humanity, but he knew where he belonged. But he knew where he belonged with the Father. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And, you know, we're all part of that if we want to be. And of course, you know, a lot of us do. Thanks for breaking that down. Oh, Bianca, way to join us. I love you, girl. Yes. There's a lot. Yes. And Luz is like, wow. Yes, I know. It's a lot. But when you're ready, you're ready. You're ready to receive. And again, you know, it's not saying, you know, I'm sure there's people out there like, what are they talking about? These weirdos or whatever. You may
so out there.
I'll take it. Weirdo. No, but you may, you know, again, it's definitely next level spirituality for sure. And it's all divine connection. It's divine download. So however you use the verbiage, but it's definitely something that is has been showing up a lot, and not only in my life, obviously it's in Sara's, and then other women that I've spoken to. And so we'll definitely have to let's bring. We're gonna talk, and we're gonna talk.
It's gonna be great, but. See what happened here? I started living up in the spirit again, and we need to remember the body.
The body.
So what was the title again? Small daily actions that keep us healthy.
Right. Why your health matters, so that
why it does matter, and how you cultivate it, right? How do you
live your best self? So yes, go ahead.
So there's things that I do every single day that is non-negotiable. You know what I do when I first wake up in the morning. I don't have the best, you know, Instagram worthy morning routine. I have a mother's routine, but there's non-negotiables that I do not pass on. I scrape my tongue so that I can cleanse and help my liver, gallbladder, spleen, and all that, get rid of the toxins. And then I drink my lemon water. And these are the two foundations of my morning. If I miss those, I don't feel like I'm awake, right? And these are the small actions that I'm talking about that we should all start incorporating into our life. They're super easy, take 2 seconds, done and over, right? But it's finding what I love to do for people is I love to find which ones, because there's so many out there. That's why I say I'm a holistic transformation mentor, because there's the huge world of holistic. Where do you start? Well, it's finding each unique trick and path that works for you, that works for me. Because another saying of Ayurveda is, you know, what is medicine for one can be poison for another, and vice versa.
True.
And so it's finding these little acts of self-love, little acts of self-care, bodily care, that is the greatest determiner of our health. It's not what we do on occasion that matter. Go ahead and eat that chocolate cake. It's not going to hurt. It's what we do on an every single day basis. Don't eat chocolate cake for breakfast every day. Common logic, right? So finding the every single little day practices. And what I like to do for my clients when they first start off, there's a little practice I like you to do. I like you to find 5 things that you're misusing your senses. What are you doing to misuse your senses? Are you eating spicy food when you have, you know, acid reflux? That's a misuse of your sense, because acid reflux is heat. Spicy food is heat. Are you listening to music that causes you to have a little bit of anxiety or maybe some negative self-talk because of the words? That's also a misuse of your sense. And then the next one is like, how am I misusing my intellect? What am I doing that I know I shouldn't be doing, right? We can come up with 5 things instantly in our head for that. And forming these awareness is the first key. You know, awareness is the key to health. So forming these awareness is allow you to take the macro of your life and break it into the micro. Allow you to understand, well, sorry, I have this little story popping into my head. I really feel like I should say it.
Go with it.
So it's kind of, sorry, fantasizing just a little bit, but just imagine with me. You wake up every day and on the way to the bathroom, you bang your head against the wall. Your dad did it. His dad did it. It's a natural part of life. You don't even realize that you're doing it. You just wake up and do it because that's what's been done your whole life. And so when you form the awareness of, oh, you know, I should probably stop banging my head. That's what I'm trying to get people to do, is to see these little things that we do every single day. And it's different for everybody. Are you standing up to eat? That's a big one. Are you eating your food?
Standing up to eat?
Yeah, that's a huge healthy eating guideline. You got to sit down. And there's just tiny little things that we are doing. We don't even realize we're doing it. Like, it's easy as a mother to start cooking food and just kind of eat while you're cooking and moving. Horrible for your digestion, you know?
That's interesting. I didn't even know that. You think like it would just like, it's easier because you're sitting down and you're like, you know, I thought maybe standing up would be better, but no, I mean, I don't stand up. So good to know that somebody like knocked that down. So yeah.
It's just, you know, it's just the little things like that every single day. And there's certain things that we should do maybe weekly and some things that we should do monthly, especially as women. There's things that we should be doing monthly, and we should have a routine with it to help keep us in cycle, to help keep us in balance. I found out all of that because I needed to. I had to have my, you know, regulation down there because that's where the disease manifested within me. So I had to find routines and rhythms from the weekly, daily, monthly aspect.
We caught loose.
Sit down, my girl, sit down.
She's like, I'm eating standing right now as I'm cooking. You caught me.
I told you, it's a very common one.
No, it's so funny because like some people do, and I see it. And I'm just like, but see, the thing about me is like, my mom, I don't know why she thought differently, but anytime I eat, like if I eat like a big meal, I'm like, I want to go for a walk. And she goes, no, you got to let your food digest. And I'm like, what? You would digest your food as you're walking? I don't know.
Walk. I'm telling you right now.
Yes.
Walk. Because, you know, in Ayurveda, I'm going to break it down real quick. There's 7 constitutions, but it breaks down to 3, and you can have, you know, pairs them up in different ways. But one of the constitutions, my recommendation for you is to stand up and walk. Just a light 15-minute walk after dinner actually boosts the digestion for this constitution. There's 2 other constitutions that I'm like, sit your butt down for 15 minutes, take a break, release the movement and release the intensity and have yourself a break after you eat. That will help your digestion.
Right.
But honestly, that one constitution over there, get up and walk, because that will help. And follow your intuition, right? No matter what anybody else says, what other teachers say, follow your intuition. Your body talks to you and tells you. And honestly, you are so in line with your spirit. I can tell that you're listening, hear it, follow it, because your body is telling you. You can hear it.
Yes. It's so good. Wow, you guys, that was amazing. I'm like, okay, I'm just blown away because there's just so much insight. And I actually knew we would have such a great conversation, and we would flow, you know what I mean? Because of everything that I read. And I was like, you know what, this is going to be amazing. So I know that you're currently working on a project coming up that you have. Do you want to share more about your program?
Yes, I have a program that I bring people from. I help them regulate their digestion, and I take them into the 4D realm and have them really build that structure, that 3D structure that I keep talking about, in order for them to experience the 4D. So a little description, we start working with your digestion first, very first. That's the core foundation. But by the end, we're bringing in Reiki, we're talking about the esoteric, and we're developing some intuition within you. And I really allow them at the end of the program to lead themselves on the path to healing. And I'm just there to help them facilitate it, right? But at the beginning, we got to start with the digestion. That's the very first point. So that's where we start. And
Awesome.
It is a 3-month program. It's really well priced. And honestly, it comes with so many perks. Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga. So you can't have one without the other in my mind. So I allow you to join me and my yoga teacher every week. We have a online yoga class. And yeah, I pay for you to attend that class. I get you some digestive aids and we get started.
Oh, I love that. So, I mean, ultimately, people are interested, right? As far as like, how to take that next step. I wanted to ask you, oh, thank you, Luz. She's like, this is great, ladies. I appreciate it. I know I'm blown away too. It's always a great conversation when we're speaking higher level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This kind of came full circle for me because it's always like a challenge for, sometimes it's the price people can't, pay for certain things and whatnot. Now, granted, I'm that person that I know the value. I see I'll put the money into it. I've invested about 20,000 in myself already. So I understand value and so forth. How could someone who's just like, I really want to do better. I really want to focus on my overall foundation, my temple, right? What steps, whether 3, 5, 10, whatever that may look like, could you give them to just get started? Something that can just benefit them if they can't sign up for your program.
Well, I guess the exercise I mentioned earlier. Start forming the awareness of how you're misusing your senses, how you're abusing your intellect.
It's really good.
And then second off, I wanted to say, start following the healthy eating guidelines.
Yes.
Because those are going to make a huge difference on your digestion, a huge difference. And so that's why I brought my book today, is just so that we can highlight that. Another thing is take a look at your spice drawer. Spices are just medicine that you can have in high quantities on a daily basis. They are still herbs. So we can start using them as herbs.
And that's so good. I mean, okay, so I'm going to quickly, if you all haven't done it yet, is I'm going to type it in I'm going to type it into the chat. And this is her book. So I'm going to go ahead and type it into the chat. I put the link to her book, but she really specifies, I mean, if you've watched this whole thing, great, but definitely go back and listen to the senses, the 5 senses. I personally need to go back because I thought it was profound. And I'm like, how are we misusing our senses? And I'm like, oh my goodness, like Luce, she caught me. I'm so misusing them. And it's like, I know it, you know what I mean? And so, so I'm just like, okay, but it's a good reminder, right? To be able to understand that process. And then of course, her book, I'm definitely getting her book. Sorry, I've been busy. I meant to have it done and read before we even met, but life, right? But I can't wait to read your book and go through that digestive guideline, because we all, with digestion issues, so funny because I'm okay with my digestive system, but every now and then it acts up. And acid reflux, yes. And but my like my son, my brother, my mom, they every now and then they mess up with their digestion, and I'm like, aha, I got stuff for you.
Yes, exactly.
And then the herbs, you talked about, the spices and whatnot. And I think that's so important that people know that. And a lot of people don't. And so
every now and then I do host master classes on spice mixing. I do quite enjoy teaching that because there's different spice mixes for each constitution. And at the same time, I got to mention this. I do have a Facebook group, Ayurvedic Self-Healing Lifestyle Tools, Tips, and Tricks for Personalized Health. Check it out on my Facebook page. You can get right over there. It's my free group, and I have so many resources on there, videos, lessons, master classes that you can just watch and get started.
So I am definitely going to post. I'm posting her link to her Facebook group. I need to join it too. So I think there's just so much opportunity, for all of us to stay connected, to be well, to show up in our power, right? If we're following, all these different things to make us, to give us that alignment and so forth. Hold on, let me see. Somebody recommended an herbal specialist, but that's fine. I don't know who that is. So, but thank you. Bianca said, thanks for that very informative, information to start. So yes, absolutely. And then I went ahead. Bianca said, what's the Facebook? Bianca, I dropped it into the chat. So hopefully you can read. Hopefully you all can see that. I dropped it.
It's right in my bio. The link to the group is right in my bio.
It's in her bio. It's also, if you go to, if I'm not mistaken, on this, if it's on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, it's in the description as well. It should be in the description. So go ahead and look at the description. But if not, well, I'm dropping it there. But it's, what's funny is I'm seeing it on YouTube that it's showing my icon is dropping as YouTube instead of Facebook. I don't know. This is like all new to me. I'm like, we'll post it as soon as we're done with this live.
Yes, we will. I'll get it all out there too.
Definitely. Okay. Do any of you have any more questions for her? Because I thought, obviously we had such a great conversation. This was amazing.
So much fun. It lifts me up for, I swear, weeks to come, just having conversations like this.
Yeah.
With you especially. It's been great.
That's what I said. I was like, oh my goodness, anytime I'll go to YouTube and get those links. Liz, go copy and paste them for me. I'm just kidding. I'll do it in a bit. But she's like, I'll head over to YouTube. I don't know why it's doing it. I have to figure it out. I got to contact my team afterwards and be like, why is it not showing on? Thank you. Thank you for sharing yourselves. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you, Luz. Truly appreciate you. But yeah, if you ladies have any more questions or if there's gentlemen watching, please go ahead and answer. We're going to be wrapping up right now. And so is there anything else that you want to share with the audience before we wrap up? Sarah?
I went through everything that my heart was feeling called to tell you about, except for one thing. Let's just do this one thing.
Okay.
So the self-healing mindset that I got into is just a switch, guys. That's all it is. If you want something, like you have to get up and go to the bathroom, that switch goes, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. It's the same thing for healing. All you have to say is, I'm going to be healthy. Just like when I had cancer, that night I found out, I was like, I don't have cancer. I'm not going to have it. I'm going to be healthy. And then I started asking myself, what is the next step?
Yeah.
What will it take for me to be healthy? And so keeping this in your mind as you're traversing through dis-ease, it's a switch. It's a decision, a finite decision. Finite. That's the word. To be healthy, to live the life you want, to be who you want to be.
It's absolutely 100% true. I go out with so much, and what it is intention, so you can say finite, you can say intention, is what are you expecting? What is it that you're expecting? So many people, they get that call, I have cancer, or they get that, I have this or I have that. And it's like, but what do you say you have?
Yeah. And
that's why Sara Jean said it's finite. It is finite. What is your decision on that disease?
Mm-hmm.
What is your decision? And so, yes, mindset is everything. And so, again, stay connected, you all, because we be dropping huge nuggets. Her and I are going to work on something amazing. So that is coming. But lastly, I want to go ahead and share, if any of you are looking to connect with Sara Jean, obviously we give you her Facebook group and so forth. But if you want to actually book a call with her, get a consultation done, dropping the link here. Hold on, let me get my fingers there. The camera and the screen. So you're going to go to giveblessing.com/healing-strategy-call. Pretty simple. It'll take you to her calendar so that you can schedule a consultation with her, get to know her. She's doing amazing things, and stay connected to her and myself. And I'm excited for what's to come. So thank you so much to all of you for joining. I know, we're so excited.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I am so grateful that you are our second to last show for season 1 of You Were Meant for More. And
yes, ma'am. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I knew. It's so funny how you and I were just in alignment. I knew that this was going to be profound. I knew. And I was like, she is going to close it out with such an amazing, you know what I mean? It's that intention, that finite decision. She's going to close it out. It's going to be powerful. And then we're going to head into next week, which is our final show. And I'm doing goal setting.
Ooh.
So goal setting for 2025 is our final show of 2024. Fabulous. And it's going to be next Wednesday, of course, my calendar messed up. Next Wednesday, the 18th. So you definitely want to save the date, come in, ask the question, get to know. I'm going to be breaking down all things goal setting and being intentional about it, having the right mindset so that it can take you to excel in your next year. Okay, last question. I needed to hear that. Let me hide this one. I needed to hear that I'm struggling with type 2 diabetes. I need to think that I can be healthy. Oh,
no.
You know that
you're
healthy.
Are healthy.
Yeah, I need to think. I know I'm healthy. So it really is. I know it sounds crazy because some people, our body only knows what it knows because this is our flesh. This is our human form. But when you think your 4D form, you know your spirit, you are healthy. Mm-hmm. And you're speaking that. My body is healthy. My body is my temple. My body is getting rid of anything that says that it's a disease.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Really very well put.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So you got this, Bianca. I know you do. And if you need help and guidance, you know how to find me. You know how to find Sara. So give us a call. Anyways, that is it for our show, everyone. Thank you so, so much. And again, you're going to find us. You're going to find something powerful that we're going to be bringing to you all soon. Stay connected. Join myself next Wednesday for goal setting. I can't wait. That's going to be powerful because I'm going to lead you into 2025 with so much excitement and intention. So thank you all. Have a wonderful night or morning, wherever you're joining us from. I appreciate you for joining. Continue to share this show and connect with us. So have a blessed one, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much, Sara, for being on the show. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. You're amazing.
Thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
I want to get to know what you do, what inspires you, what you enjoy.
My ability to lead really impacts women on a larger level because not every woman has the same story or the same journey. So understanding where they've come from and where they want to go helps me be the leader that I can so that I can show up in a space of authenticity for them.